探戈杂谈室。
Ni vos ni yo supimos cuál se perdió, ni donde el bien y el mal tuvo un día final y otro día comenzó。
嗨，大家好，欢迎来到探戈杂谈室。今天再度来到我们的探戈音乐节的节目介绍，那已经是倒数第二场的场次了。今天要介绍的是11月12号的阿妈Tango en Paris Je vous aime。那今天邀请的两位是当天会为我们做导聆以及人声的两位老师 Daniel 跟 Nicolas。Hello。Hello。Hi. Please introduce yourself to our audience, Nicolas.
大家好. So we'll talk in English. I'm Nicolas. I've been here for 6 years now in Taipei, in Taiwan. I originally come from France. I moved a lot in France. I used to be a singer. I still sing, and I give lectures in Zhongyang Dashui and also in Dongwu Dashui. That's it. I'm interested in, I used to sing more opera, but now I sing more chanson and popular songs. That's it.
Okay. Daniel 老师。
嗨，我是 Daniel， 我是台北的探戈艺文沙龙的负责人跟艺术总监。那除了跳舞，也会有时候也唱歌。
老师也是因为跳探戈所以开始唱歌这样吗？
没有啊，本来就会唱去 KTV 嘛。
这种唱歌。但是演出的话
就是跳 Tango 之后才有，对，办活动才有。
是一个蛮有趣的历程这样。
通常没有人做的时候我就会出来做，有人做我就不做了这样。
对，老师永远都是走在我们台湾探戈界的最前面这样。Okay, and so I know this concert and the lecture is quite special because it talk about tango and Paris, but in our knowledge, we usually talk tango with with Italian or Spanish, but not much with French. So maybe we can start with this. Why we have this theme that the tango and the Paris together. So, Nicolas?
As a matter of fact, then tango was adopted by the French, and you can find many chansons with some tango rhythm. So there are a lot of tangos among the many French singers sung tango, but of course in their own fashion, in their own way. I don't know if our audience knows what chanson is. So chanson was created, was born maybe during the 19th century. So this is French music is vast. So you have many types of vocal music. If you think of church music, for example, was the first type of French music, and then of course you have the music that people used to sing in castles or on the street, or and then romance, and then melody, and then you have chanson, which people say is born around the middle of the 19th century, when Paris, and mainly Paris, but big French cities now, they're becoming more international, they're more urbanized, more people from different backgrounds, and then you have this kind of commercial way of doing music, which is born in cafes. So chanson is first a type of music that people listen in cafes. So that we're going to call these cafes café concert, coffee shops, if you like. So on the main boulevards, on the big boulevards, big avenues, in Paris, in the middle of 19th century, Paris is going to to really change. So Paris used to be like a big city, but with very narrow streets, not very clean. And then you're going to have someone called Haussmann who is going to change Paris completely. And we're going to have big avenues and very classic architecture, very well structured. And then you have these cafes on these avenues where people like to walk, to hang out. Just like in Berlin, you have Unter den Linden, or in some of the capitals in cities. And then coffee shops which wants to attract customers. They're going to attract some singers to give songs so that clients, so that customers are happy to be there. And so these are the first professional singers. So before then, you had the opera singers, who were professionals, but otherwise you didn't have professional singers. But these singers now are paid. And then later on, the next step is, of course, you're going to have discs. Yeah? And then also songs in movies also, because the cinema is born around 1895. And then the first sound movies are made of songs. So they're not made of dialogues, but of songs, because it's much easier to record songs. And so that people are going to know more and more about these voices that they like to hear and also to see in movies. And then the golden age, we usually say that the golden age of chanson is the 50s, right after the Second World War. That's the time when you have Juliette Gréco, Jacques Brel, Léo Ferré, Georges Brassens. And yeah, nowadays when we think of chanson, we think maybe of the present day chanson, but also of this golden age, when this type of singing is very much associated with with some good text, good lyrics. So chanson is quite specific because the text is more important than the music. Whereas in the Anglo-Saxon world, you can have a song which is a text which is not perfect, but if you can say, I love you, wow, and that's it. But if the music is wonderful, then it's okay. But for us, sometimes even some songs are a bit boring if you don't understand the words. But then people are ready to take care of to listen carefully to the texts. And so we are a people who, we are intellectual people in a way, not very intellectual. Not everyone is Jean-Paul Sartre, of course. But what I mean is that we are people who are more here than, that's why it's interesting to see how French people also came to like something like tango, which comes from the southern part of the world. And then tango was very different. Was very different because it's actually tango was not the only way, not the only thing that French people adopted by the 1900 or so. But there were also other rhythms, from jazz rhythms, and then that's the time when people in big cities they wanted to have fun. Especially after the First World War, which was a terrible war, of course. People wanted to have fun, so they wanted to dance. They wanted to also to express their sexuality. So because at the time it was not easy to have a decent sexual life, so you needed some special places where you could go beyond the limits, and people didn't care. Okay, that's my presentation about what chanson is and why we adopted tango as like many other music. But it seems tango was one of the type of music that the French really came to like and even be crazy about.
Yeah, sounds like Chanson is in some way very like tango, that it starts from a normal life. It's really close to the people, happen in the coffee shop or like in the bar, like tango, but not in a great venue like opera. Is totally for normal people living and having fun together. And also the sexual part is very alike too.
Yeah, in French chanson, actually, even in the French culture generally, you have two streams. One is like we idealize love and everything is pure and we tend to think to have idealize and then another, but the counter the other thing is sex. And you have this thing, actually from the Middle Age, you have this separation between two ways of approaching love, which is idealized love, the woman which is, you cannot access to this woman who is so pure, so nice, so mysterious. But then as a consequence, you have another way of viewing love, which is sexual, which is naughty, which is salacious. We call it amour grivois. And then chanson is in between.
Okay. So like Nicolas just said that the French adopt many culture from abroad, include tango. But since that when Argentine people, they went to France, they also adopt some French culture back to Argentina and even make lyrics into tango. So Daniel, can you share something about this?
是因为巴黎的地位在20世纪初是很高的嘛，就是大家都会往它看齐，所以虽然像尼古拉刚刚说的，就是 Tango 早期是在阿根廷是不被接受的嘛，觉得它是比较低下阶层做的事情，但是因为巴黎接受了，而且接受的不是只有巴黎，去巴黎的人都接受，那其实包括美国啊，还有德国啊，还有这些上流社会跟中上阶层的人都喜欢，所以阿根廷也就接纳回来了他们自己的文化这样。那在这个过程当中，也是有很多有钱人的子弟啊，都会去旅行。他们就是毕业之后就先去旅行再说。那很多人也都会去欧洲啊，旧大陆。那去法国的人也很多后来是作词家，也曾经Tango 的作词家也曾经会有去欧洲旅行的时候，包括去法国。然后像那个 Nicolas 刚刚也提到，我不知道他有没有提到，就是有一个叫 Carlos Gardel 的一个很有名的 Tango 歌手，他后来变成电影的明星。那电影的拍摄一开始是在法国，后来在纽约，但他就是一个如日中天的，人家称他为南美的猫王嘛。后来英年早逝，但是他就是也有很长时间是居住在法国的。那这些作词家来往于新旧大陆之间，就会带来一些那边的回忆嘛。比如说有一些就会进到歌词里面，会讲到一些巴黎的场景跟那边的区域。比如说有一个叫做 Claudinette 的一首歌呢，就讲说他就在唱的时候就描述说 Medianoche parisina en aquel café concert， 就是在巴黎的一个凌晨12点，在那间 café concert， 就是那个歌唱咖啡厅嘛。Como envuelta en la neblina de una lluvia gris y fina te vi desaparecer。 他说你仿佛在一个浓雾中被包覆了，在一个灰色的雨 如此细致的雨，我看到你消失在那里面，这样就是直接有点像回顾起他在巴黎的一些经验，然后把它写成歌。那这样子的歌就也蛮多的，而且很多时候呢，里面的一些女性的名称也会是法国女人的名称，其中也不乏有一些其实是一些文学作品里面的重要人物，这样。
嗯嗯，那最明显的是不是就像是那一首《Ganalo and Bali》的那一首？
那当巴黎是我不确定它有歌词吗？它是不是一个器乐曲？但是它的确就是它，我要查一下它有没有歌词啊。但是它就是在讲 Ganado 这个指挥家，对不对？
他跑去巴黎，
对，在巴黎，而且很成功的在那边演奏嘛。那这次其实有一个很有趣的故事，就是说好像有一段时间呢，就是如果是外国人在法国演奏的话，他们有一个规定，就是你只能演就是你如果是阿根廷人，你只能演阿根廷的民族音乐，但是 Tango 不算是什么民族音乐嘛。于是他们就想了一个办法，就是他们后来就包装成高卓人，就是他们穿的高球的衣服，高球是他们的蒙巴草原的牛仔嘛，所以他们就穿着高卓人的衣服演奏 Tango。反正 Tango 他们不知道 Tango 是什么吗？我说这就是我们的民族音乐，就这样去糊弄过去。对，
很聪明，很聪明，
很跳，阿根廷人很灵活。
对，真的很灵活。那像是so when the people they must do the interaction because interaction because when Argentine people they went to Paris or went to France for trip or for vacation, winter or summer vacation, and definitely some French people went to Argentina too. So then, like Daniel just mentioned, there are many French ladies' names appear or written into the lyrics. So there must be many stories happen in Argentina from these French women, right?
Yeah, I just read an article that made a list of all the words, the French words that you can find in Argentinian lyrics, in tango lyrics by the 30s, I think, no, by the 20s or so, and it's huge. There are so many. So I think you said some of them, Daniel. But then, so yeah, actually, tango was despised by people in Argentina first, but then when it got popular in France, then people from the aristocracy of the bourgeoisie in Buenos Aires, they thought, oh, if it's popular in Paris, that must be good. So that shows that Paris had a kind of it was a kind of reference of the time. Yeah. But then what is a bit strange is that it's still exotic for us, tango. So even though tango came to Paris, then I still think that it remains something different, something exotic. So I was a bit struck by the fact that many tango chansons are actually some kind of introductions of tango. When you see the lyrics, it's like you have the cliche of tango. Yeah, this is one style of one category of French tango songs. So yeah, the lyrics talk about the guy who, like, everything is exaggerated, the dramatic aspect of tango and the poor lady and the atmosphere. So it's a kind of introduction of tango for French tourists in a way. Even some very famous and very good singers like Léo Ferré or Jacques Brel sung songs like this. And then another one is like we take the tango rhythm and then we talk about something which has nothing to do with tango. And for example, you have a song made by Boris Vian, the writer and also musician from the 40s, 50s. The lyrics talk about some prisoners who tried to dig a hole into the prison to get out of the prison. So it has absolutely nothing to do with tango, but the rhythm is funny. So I think we were fascinated, French people are fascinated by this rhythm because maybe our French culture is more about something clear, something beautiful, there's something rational. And Southern America, like Africa, for us, this is the body, sensuality, something which is, this is transgressive. I mean, we get to like tango, it's like we become somebody else. And so singing tango or dancing tango is like becoming someone else. So we like to pretend for a few minutes that we can be Argentinians, but we are not. So it's quite interesting, I think.
Yes. Then do you dance to chanson?
Sorry?
Do you dance with chanson?
Well, chanson is not really there are all kinds of chansons, you know. I think tango is, well, maybe I'll say something really wrong and Daniel can tell me if I make a mistake. I have the impression that tango is much more homogeneous. But there are many types of chansons, many types of rhythms, many types of musical instruments, of subjects also. I mean, the themes of the lyrics we can have chansons about everything, political, about stupid things, about love, of course, but not only love. And it can be very serious also, tragedies like Barbara sings about her father who used to abuse her when she was a child, and then she goes to visit him right after he dies. So we can talk about incest, we can talk about prostitution, about suicide, about politics, about kitchen, about everything. And I have the impression, maybe I'm wrong, but tango there are certain topics that are more, you find them again and again and again.
I think apart from the lyric side, because I think as a Taiwanese, before I knew anything about chanson, I had only an impression of chanson being that one, like La Vie en Rose, right? Like that is chanson, but actually it's not. It is a lot of different rhythms can all be chanson, which means like songs, right?
Yeah.
And for me, the dancing comes with the rhythm. So if the rhythm is there, you can dance to it. If the characteristic of the tango is that it has the walking rhythm. It's like a march, but a more gentle march. So it makes you walk, and that is the homogeneity that you are talking about. Yeah, I think, for example, we also have milonga. Milonga is a different rhythm from tango, but it is like a cousin, the cousin of tango. But it doesn't make you walk. It makes you do a different kind of body movement.
Okay.
But so we also have that in the tango world, let's say.
So maybe everything in tango, the root of tango is dance, but for us, the root for chanson, sorry. But the root of chanson is the text.
Yes.
To communicate, to pass on a message, to communicate some lyrics. And then we can have all kinds of rhythms, probably. Yeah. Even today you have Stromae, who is a Belgian. Okay, he's Belgian, but he sings in French, so we say it's chanson française, even though he's a Belgian. He can talk about very serious topics, very surprising topics. Like he talked about, he wanted to commit suicide, and he sings about this, and you can dance on it. So there's a big contrast sometimes between the topic and the fact that you can dance on very serious topics also. Like he has a song which I think the title of the song is Tous les mêmes, we all the same, and life is always the same, and we, after a long day, we come back home and it's dramatic, but then the rhythm is super rhythmic, and you want to dance on it, and I think we that's how we find transgression, and maybe in tango the transgression is more the body itself, the connection to your partner, and the fact that it's the body, and for us the transgression is more here, the fact that you dare to talk about some topics which people don't want to talk about, which I think is quite striking for Taiwanese, because
what does tango mean to you?
Nicolas?
What does that mean? Something to discover and rediscover, because I don't think I know tango very well, actually. I mean, I sung some tangos, but I don't know much. So I still think that tango is something exotic to me, still exotic, still something to discover, because I don't dance tango, so yeah.
But you sing tango?
Not very often, honestly. Yeah.
Okay. And Daniel?
探戈的本质对我来说是音乐、舞蹈跟文学，还有他们的社交文化。那至于探戈对我本人的意涵，我觉得它是我生活中很重要的一部分，但是又不是生活的全部。这样讲完了。
那老师，你在探戈里面付出了这么多，我觉得那是你生活的全部，这样。
它不可能是生活的全部啊。因为我不是说，我如果没有去到探戈的场合的话，我也不是说就已经在跳舞了嘛，或是在听，或者是在朗诵他的诗词这样。没有啊，它不是全部，但是它是很大一部分，但是不是全部。然后我觉得要预告一下，就是在11月12号当天呢，我们会听到 Nicolas 讲更多Chanson跟 Tango 交织在一起的事情，对的一些细节，
对，因为我们这个 podcast 主要还是希望让更多人可以到台大雅颂坊去听阿妈Tango，还有 Nicolas， 还有 Daniel 老师的导聆以及
对，另外一个也要再广告一下，就是阿妈Tango是阿妈Tango，我去跟他们排练嘛，然后就发现阿妈Tango真是人才济济，就是他们感觉他们的班多纽是他们的主修，其他乐器是副修，就好像几乎每个人都会弹班多纽，然后他们又会其他的乐器这样，所以那天的编制会非常的丰富，会有各种交换，对不对？然后我想这个场次应该是整个探戈音乐系列里面除了巴奈的场次以外呢，最多唱歌的一个场次。我想应该是很多唱歌的场次，然后唱的有 Nicolas 跟那个玉芳还有我，对，然后也会有一些合唱的部分，所以希望大家可以来现场聆听，
好哦，那11月12号大家台大雅颂坊见，拜拜。
拜拜，谢谢。
哎。